Well, William Harmon Norton must have been around when you were at school.
I remember him, but he was an elderly man. Norton died before I got to Cornell.
Not until 1940.
Oh yes, but he was retired from teaching. When I took geology, it was under somebody else. He was the geology prof. But I think he had retired before I took my line or something. Anyway, I didn't have it as an instructor. He was just a block from here.
Right.
The house right
Yeah.
up here a block. He lived.
Well, I thought you might remember him.
I remember it. I remember it.
What about Harold Ennis?
Oh yes. Harold Ennis was kind of a buddy of my brother, Dan. He was older than I. And he was an instructor up here too. And very nice fellow. Member of the church up here, I think. Lived out on 10th Avenue South. And was quite a bird watcher and trail man. And they established an Ennis Trail down near Ivanhoe that was laid out in memory of Ennis, because he used to come down and do a lot of trailing around. You remember he was quite a bird watcher. And I remember one Sunday that he and Jim McCutcheon came down to my house when I was living on 2nd Avenue North, and they wanted me to go with them down to Ivanhoe on a bird watch. And I went with them that day, and we trailed up the Cedar River and all around down there with Ennis and Jim and I. And I think that was, if I'm not wrong, that was right about the time of Pearl Harbor.
Could well be.
I think it was on a Sunday. I don't think it was that Sunday, because I remember we had just had our dinner on Sunday, and about 1 o'clock it came over the radio that Pearl Harbor had been attacked by the Japanese. I was living down there in 2nd Avenue at the time. But that was a Sunday right near the time of this trip to the Ivanhoe with Ennis and Jim for bird watching.
How about Judge Littell?
Oh, Judge Littell.
Yeah.
I had politics under him at Cornell. I took political science. I think I had maybe 2 courses under him. I thought he was a very good instructor, and I liked him. He affiliated well with the college, with the students, and was pretty well thought of, I'm sure.
Did he play any part in the town that you know of? He never ran for office or anything like that?
I don't think that he was ever affiliated in the town. He might have consulted with him or something, but I don't think he had any particular thing in the town. I'm trying to think of who the
How about Keyes? Charles Reuben Keyes?
Keyes was. Keyes must have been out of the faculty or retired by the time. Wasn't he retired by the time I got to Cornell or not?
No, I don't think so, because he was active in
30s?
Yeah, early 30s. Depression. He was did some of his work for the government.
Well, I remember Keyes. He lived on 10th Avenue South.
Yeah.
Should have been.
Sure.
Yeah, Littell was a nice man, and he had oh, I knew. Let's see, his son became quite a influential person. Which one was
Well,
it?
Franklin?
Franklin? Wasn't he connected with some institution in the East?
Yeah, right. Yeah, then he had another son who was with the State Department.
Yeah, he got an appointment with yeah, and he came out here lectured, I think, a few
Right,
times.
both the boys have been out here, yeah. How about Albion King? Did you know Albion?
Oh, yes. Albion was a good friend of mine.
Tell me about
He
Albion.
was a Methodist, and he was a Lion, remember? Remember the Lions Club? And we knew Albion and his wife. They lived over on 8th Avenue North. And Albion was, wasn't he confirmed as a Methodist minister? Too?
Yes, he was.
And then he taught up at Cornell for several years, and very good reputation. His first wife died, and he married again. And we knew the second Mrs. King too. She was in a club with my wife, and we knew her real well.
Did you know Professor Stancliffe?
Yes,
Tell me about him.
Stancliffe was he an instructor in public speaking?
He was in history.
History. Yes. He was a cripple. He was using a cane. He lived right up here on this street. And he was still on the faculty at Cornell when I went, I believe.
Yes, he would have been.
Yeah, but I didn't have a course under him. But I knew him. Everybody knew him because of his particular appearance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And very distinguished looking man. And he had his cane, and he had his set ideas, and I think he was quite well thought of by the faculty and the students.
He must have been active in the Presbyterian Church. He
Yeah, I
wrote.
think he was.
He wrote a little history in about
I think he was a
1942.
Presbyterian. I think
Yeah.
he was.
How about Toppy Tull?
Well, Tull lived down on 2nd Street North, same street you live on.
Yeah.
And of course, he was an English professor and taught. His room was in the South Hall. I never had a course under Tull, but Tull was teaching when I was going to Cornell, and even after that, of course.
Yeah.
And he was quite well known as an English instructor and a poet. And they had adopted this Signa Falk,
Mm-hmm.
who later went into Cole and was on the faculty up there,
Right.
I think.
She just passed away.
Yeah, she died in the last year or two,
Yeah.
I noticed. I think they adopted and raised her
Mm-hmm.
because her folks were dead or something. Toppy Tull, yeah.
How about Winifred Van Etten?
Van Etten's lived right up the street here. Second block, small house. Benny Van Etten was a wrestler when he was in Cornell. And I guess Winifred Van Etten was an English teacher, I believe, for years, several years. Of course, I never had a course under her, but I knew the Van Ettens. I thought pretty well of them.
There was a big centennial observance for the college in 1953.
Yes.
Do you remember being part of that at all, or how that worked?
Well, I remember there was a centennial. I don't remember the agenda of the occasion exactly. Let's see, it was Cole was president then, I believe, wasn't it? I think the town kind of cooperated in the agenda anyway, to a certain extent. I was practicing law down here at the time. Of course, I attended the festivities,
Yeah.
but I can't relate all that happened.
Is there any faculty members through the years that you think played a larger role in the life of the town? I mean, I hear the name Roy Nelson, who was apparently mayor at one point, or council
Roy
member.
Nelson He lived in the Ash House.
Right.
And they lived there for years. Roy was the director of the bank for a while, too, I believe. Or am I wrong on that?
I think you're right.
And he was mayor for a while, wasn't he? Of the town. And Roy was a well-informed individual, rather versatile person. Did he teach physics at college? And I think as mayor, of course, his judgment was respected and followed, and he was considered quite able, pretty well thought of in the community, and also with the bank. And I know he was the director, as I recall. I remember when after my father died in 51, and the second wife lived about 5 years after that. And after she died in 56 or 7, we had no more use of the brick house, and we considered selling it to the bank. The bank wanted to buy it. They did buy it, and they got set up there at about 60. And I remember that Roy was on the bank board at that time, of the movement, and Raymond Molly was another member of the board. And I remember they came up before the house was torn down, or during the process. They measured the area and laid out a survey for the new bank that's coming up there. And I remember he and this other man, Molly, were evidently the bank had delegated them to work out a building arrangement. They were measuring the distances and the whole layout. And I remember that was before the bank was built. And the bank was built and set up about 60 up there. And the new board was empaneled in 62, of which I was a member. They went from a private bank. Stutzlager was a private banker, you know. And he was a private banker. But he had died in about 30, and then it continued in his estate for a while. I don't know when they converted to a state bank, but it was long before they moved. Van Meter was running the bank. He was Stutzlager's protege.
Oh.
Van Meter went through the university. What's the finance university of the East? Big financial university.
Oh, Wharton School in Philadelphia?
Or maybe it was the finance thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came here just after World War I. Stutzlager put him in charge. He was Stutzlager's protege. He took over after Stutzlager died as the manager of the bank during the 30s and 40s.
Well, was he a member of the Board of Trustees, do you know?
What?
Was he a member of the college Board of Trustees? There's a plaque to a Van Meter in the gymnasium, in the new field house, built in 53.
There was what?
There's a plaque.
Van Meter?
Yeah, with his name, with that name on it.
I believe that
Was his daughter Mary?
Van Meter was either college trustee, college treasurer, or he was a trustee, I think, for a while.
Must be.
I think so. Yeah.
Did his daughter marry Joe? Who lived here in town? Who was dean of students for many years at Cornell.
Joe Martin.
No, Joe Meade.
Joe Meade's wife was the sister of Van Meter's wife.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
Oh, that was it. I knew there was a connection.
She was, Van Meter's wife was Mary Cortland Van Meter. And Mrs. Meade was her first name? Mary Cortland Meade. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
And they were sisters.
They were sisters.
Yeah. That was the connection between Joe Meade and Van Meter. They were close, of course.
Well, now Doug Van Meter is in that family, still in that same family?
This Doug Van Meter is his son.
Well, this is the son.
He's on the board now.
Right,
And
right.
he's the chairman of our board at the bank.
I was going to say he's on the bank
He married
board.
a Lynch.
All right, so
That's
that's right. He's
Doug
the
Van
son.
Meter's son.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
okay, got that. Do you want to say anything about music festivals?
Oh.
You must have attended more music festivals
Tell you a
than
little
anybody
about
else.
that. I sang in the Oratorial Society that appeared in the festival. I did that 2 or 3 years at Cornell, when I was at Cornell. And Frederick Stock came here with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. He was the director for years. He'd been coming. And Alfred Wallenstein was one of the featured with the what's this big instrument that they play? Not a violin, but
Cello?
cello. And Alfred Wallenstein roomed at our house. We had him, and Dan and I got acquainted with him. He was an outstanding person, and a professional musician, of course. He was he was not only a member, but he was one of the soloists. And so we got to know him. He stayed at our house while they were here, roomed there. Some of the members did that, out in town.
Right.
Alfred Wallenstein. I'll never forget that. Remarkable man. And my brother got him a date with one of the gals at Cornell at the time. They went to Cedar Rapids together on a joint date. I remember that. He wasn't old. He was a young fellow.
Yeah, he was still very active in the 1940s.
Yeah.
I know, I remember that name.
And my father knew Dr. Stock. He got acquainted with him. And, Stock was supposed to be on drugs, I guess.
Oh.
That was the story. I don't know it as a fact, of course. But he got acquainted with my father, and I don't know whether he approached him for any drugs or not.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
But they knew each other.
Yeah.
And I met him myself, too. And I have a distinct recollection of Stutzlaker lived in Lisbon at that time.
Right.
And of course, he was the head of the bank. I remember Stutzlaker in his Cadillac. They entertained Stock at lunch. And I remember I was up there, Stutzlaker was taking Stock up to rehearsal or something, driving uptown in the Cadillac, sitting there pompously, and Stock was driving, Stock was sitting next to him. They were going up from luncheon, and they had lunch in Lisbon, and he was taking him up to the college for the afternoon concert, I suppose.
Sure.
I remember that incident. That would have been early in the 20s, I think.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So they came for so many years, I would think you would have...
Well, Stutzlaker died in 29, so it was in the 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, musical. I took cornet lessons under Bridgham. Bridgham was the director of the band and instrument instructor. I took cornet lessons under him. I played in the Cornell band one fall. I remember we went out to play at the November game. The instruments all froze up, got cold.
Yeah.
The wind instruments were blowing. Oh, I remember that yet. I wasn't any artist with the cornet. I learned how to play it, but I wasn't real good. But I did play in the band one fall.
there any other faculty members that you can remember that have played a large part in the town, or that contributed to the life of the town?
Chet Rich.
Let's say some more.
Chet Rich was a councilman for quite a while. He was an instructor at the college.
Yes.
Economics, I believe. I'm not sure what it was. But he was on the council, and I guess he was chairman of the finance committee or something, but he was on there quite a while, and they thought quite a bit of it. Chet Rich. Yeah. And of course, Nelson was connected with the town,
Right.
close, and his mayor. And who else did we have from the college?
Well, Boots must have done.
Davis. Davis was on. He just died.
Watson Davis.
Watson Davis was on the council for years. Taught at the college. He graduated at Cornell.
Yep.
You know,
He must have been about the same class.
He and his wife had their 70th
Well,
anniversary of marriage
Yep.
in August, last August.
Right.
70th. Think of it.
Yep.
I couldn't hardly conceive it.
That's pretty
We were up at
remarkable.
Fort Dodge.
Yeah, remarkable man. Both of them. I like both of them very much.
She's still living.
She's still living. Yeah. Millie.
We knew the Davis as well.
Yeah.
Used to live right down here on 3rd Avenue South. I remember that going up to Sunday school on Sunday morning, walking up.
Well, let's go back just a minute before we quit here today to that election in 1914 that you were talking about. Your father was running from there.
Well, in 14, my father was running as mayor, and Willix, W-I-L-L-I-X, was running against him. Willix was either a trustee at Cornell or the financial secretary. I don't remember which.
Right.
It was a very high-spirited contest. Quite a bit of feeling.
Were there
It
issues?
developed between they got to be regarded as a town against the college. My father represented the town, of course. Willix represented the college. So it was a knockdown, drag-out election. Very spirited, very close, lots of feeling. Hot feeling. Enmities developed, and feuding. But my father won by a little bit. I don't know the score exactly now.
Were there some issues out there that were dividing people? That the college clearly felt it had an issue in? An interest in?
I don't know of any issues. Just
Yeah.
remember town against the college.
Yeah.
As I was telling you before, I think that the enmity existed against
Right.
the Wolves for some number of years.
Well, that's why I was coming back to it. It
Right
seemed
down
to be a very signal.
Right down through the Coles and Charlie Hedges. And, they didn't want any Wolf on the trustees. I remember years ago when Jim McCutcheon was made a trustee, I think probably in the 70s sometime. Anyway, Fred Young, we were out at the country club. We all belonged out there. And Jay Fordyce was running the bank at that time.
Yeah.
Van Meter had died. And I was practicing law. And Jim was named as trustee. And Fred was a good man around town. He knew everybody and
Yeah.
everything, and he always brought it out. He said, well, Jay and Dick ought to be named the trustees. I remember he said that after Jim was named. And, well, I think Jay Fordyce got to be on the alumni board.
Yeah.
And I think Jay wanted to be a trustee. I think that was one of the big disappointments of his life, that he wasn't named. I didn't let it bother me much. I I would have enjoyed being named, of course. And had I been, I would have, of course, had to contribute substantially, and would have. But I wasn't named, so. Let's see, you asked me who was on the bank board from the college other than Cochran. Before Cochran. Was I on there before Cochran? Yes, I was. Somebody from the college was on there. You would remember if I could name him. It just slipped my mind right now. The bank tried, as I told you before, wanted somebody from the college on the board. Naturally, they wanted to hold a college business, which was substantial. And Cochran really filled the bill.
Yep.
Dual capacity or triple capacity, whatever. He was a very versatile person.
Yep.
Cochran was an expert in finances and in management and building and banking and everything. Very versatile person. I hated to see him leave the college.
Well, it was a loss that he left the town too.
Huh?
I was sorry to see him leave the town as well.
Oh yes.
Because real.
There was somebody on the bank board from the college before Cochran. Who was the finance man at the college before Cochran? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I don't know who he replaced. Would you say that the relationship with between the college and the bank has in your years has been a fairly amenable relationship?
Yes, and I think that was largely due to the fact that the board went out of its way to see that we got a college man on the board to know what was going on in the bank, to know what was going on at the college. Put it together. I know we had a member from the college on the board before Cochran, and Cochran was on for several years.
Oh yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, over 25 years,
Yeah.
Closer to 30, I think. Yeah. Well, that's the impression that a lot of us have in the community, is that that's been an amenable relationship.
Well, that helped to cement the relations, not only between the town and the bank, or not only between the bank and the college, but the town and the college. And there was generally somebody from the college on the city council, like Rich, and Nelson, and Davis, through the years that I remember. I was city attorney from 1944 when S.F. Gaston appointed me after George Wilson died. I was city attorney till 1980. For how many years would that be? 30.
Yep.
30-some years, 35 years. 8 different mayors.
Yep.
Under that. I can remember S.F. Gaston, Otis Young, who was
At college.
an outstanding man at Cornell,
Right.
was mayor for several years.
Yeah.
And Frank Bettish,
Yeah.
Doris Pringle,
Yeah.
the guy that went east,
Nick Berry.
Dick Berry, Dick Peters. Mrs. Pringle came back for the second term.
Yeah.
And Earl Wolvers was the last one. I was up. But I think there's 8 different mayors. When I was city attorney for 34 years.
Yep. Well, I think we'll call this one for today and come back to our other topics when we set an appointment here. But